We're good. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sergeant Paul Maycook, M-A-K-U-C, with the Connecticut State Police Fire and Explosion Investigation Unit. Great, thank you. This morning at approximately 9:38 a.m., the Chester Fire Department was dispatched to a reported structure fire at 27 Ridge Road in the town of Chester for a reported structure fire. The Chester Fire Department, along with personnel from Troop F in Westbrook, responded to the scene. Once they arrived, they found heavy fire coming from the structure that was identified as a single-family structure. Several occupants of the building had already been outside at the time of the fire. There were 2 occupants who were reportedly trapped inside the structure at the time. One of the occupants outside attempted to get back inside to rescue both of those individuals, but was unsuccessful due to the fact that there was heavy smoke and fire conditions already in the building. The second floor occupant managed to escape through a second floor window and jump to the ground and sustained minor injuries. Once fire department personnel were able to enter the building, during a primary search, they did locate a female victim on the first floor. They removed her from the building and they transported her to Middlesex Hospital, where she was pronounced deceased. The 2 other occupants of the building who were transported to Middlesex Hospital did sustain minor, non-life-threatening injuries and are expected to recover at this time. The Chester Fire Marshal's Office arrived on scene to conduct an origin and cause investigation and requested the assistance of the Connecticut State Police Fire and Explosion Investigation Unit. At that time, detectives from the Connecticut State Police Fire and Explosion Investigation Unit were dispatched to the scene and have been working with the Chester Fire Marshal's Office to conduct the origin and cause investigation. This includes interviewing several witnesses, documenting the scene, and processing the scene. As you can see, this is still a very active scene. We expect to be here throughout the night as we continue to process this fire scene to determine where and how this fire started. At this point, we have 1 confirmed fatality and 2 injuries, but again, those folks are expected to recover from the scene.
In terms of the woman who did pass away, are there any details about her you can release, whether her name or age or anything like that?
At this point, we can release that she is the homeowner of this building. Her name is Joan Carini, and she did reside here at the residence, and this was her home.
And the spelling of her last name?
The spelling of her last name is Carini, C-A-R-I-N-I.
Do you know how old she was?
She was 76 years old.
Were there pets in the home that also died in this fire?
Unfortunately, there were 2 pets that did perish in the fire. Several others were rescued from the building, but unfortunately 2 pets, a dog and a cat, did not make it out.
Do you have a total of the number of people that lived in the home?
I don't have that information at this time.
It said that this was a hoarding situation. Is that accurate to say?
Is it what? I'm sorry.
A hoarding situation? There's a lot of debris inside the home.
We're looking into, again, we're just getting into the scene now. It's been, as I said, it's a very active investigation. You know, we are looking at, you know, different aspects of this investigation. And, you know, there are, you know, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, we still have to look through.
Can you take us through just what the investigation is going to look like for the rest of the night? What will you be doing, looking for, things like that?
So what we'll be doing, again, detectives have been here better part of the day. We've been conducting interviews. At this point, we're in the process of documenting the scene to you know, take photographs and measurements and things of that nature. And then the rest of the investigation will entail going through the debris in a layered examination. We'll systematically examine the structure from the inside to the from the outside to the inside to just uncover where this fire may have started. We have some preliminary information from interviews that we're trying to work with, but again, until we get in there and actually kind of dismantle some of the debris, we just don't know exactly where that fire started at this point.
The fire chief earlier stated that there was a lot of quote-unquote stuff in the house. Now, did that impede the firefighters at all from fighting this fire?
They were able to get in and make that rescue very quickly, so I think that you know, they did a great job as far as getting in there and making that rescue. You know, I think as far as putting out hot spots and putting the fire out after the fire was over, that may have played a factor, but as far as them getting in to do their job and make the rescue, that did not seem to impact their duty.
Any reason to be concerned this might be suspicious?
At this point, you know, we're looking at all aspects. We have no reason to believe that there's any criminal aspect to this fire, but we're still looking into, you know, we're going to look at every possibility. We still have a lot of work to do here tonight.
In terms of fighting this fire, when you arrived to the scene, kind of take us through. There's one person trapped on the first, another trapped on the second floor. How many, like, what does it take to kind of get in there and make sure that those people can get out, you can save them if they are trapped? Kind of walk us through the work that that entails.
This
If
house
you could
is
step in front of the microphone.
That's a bit of the microphone.
this house is well known to our department, only because they got to have a lot of kids here, and most of the firefighters know these houses and how to get in, how to get back out again. And the elderly lady that was residing on the first floor, we knew exactly where she lived on that floor, and we were able to get right at her. We weren't impeded. The gentleman that was on the second floor that went out the window, he made it out the window, but it was a little difficult to get upstairs only because of the fire that had compromised the stairs at the top. But I think the fire department did it in a timely manner.
With it being an older structure where there's smoke alarms in place or any kind of mitigating efforts to maybe help the fire?
We haven't done that part of the investigation, so I don't know if there were, there should be, but if they were working or not at the time.
What merits a fire and explosion investigative unit to kind of come into a fire like this?
What happens is the fact that little towns like Chester and Deep River, we basically don't have the expertise to do these kind of fires, especially when there's serious injuries or a fatality. And basically we request their assistance because they come with everything, the dogs and the vans and everything like that. So it's common practice for us to ask them to come help.
You said a lot of the firefighters knew the people who lived in this building. Did you know the woman who passed away?
Yes.
It's got to be a difficult day.
Yeah. I try to know everybody in the town.
Anything you can say about her?
She basically, she was around 76 years old, and I won't say handicapped, but it was difficult for her to get around. And it was difficult for her to go upstairs, so that's why she lived on the first floor. But like anybody 76 or 78, they're stubborn. You know, you can't tell them what to do. And so that's why it's a little hard.
How are the firefighters doing?
Doing fine.
Outside of state police, other towns, were other towns called in as well? Or was it
Yeah, I don't know all the towns. The chief, you should ask the chief about this, but I know that Old Saybrook was here, Deep River was here, Killingworth was here, as well as Chester. And I'm sure I forgot at least one or two towns.
And the pets that were killed in this, dogs, cats?
I think there was one cat and one dog, and they both were deceased, and they're going to be buried in the family pet cemetery.
And are you able to just clarify with the two other victims how they're related, if at all, to the woman who passed away?
let's see. No, it's hard. This is a Joan, who owned the house, was let's call her the grandmother, and then her daughter and her husband and her kids lived in this house, and one other daughter of Joan's lived in Rhode Island, type of thing. They've all been taken care of by Blue Cross. We got them in a hotel and took care of them that way, so they're fine. And the only one, I don't know how the injuries are at the hospital. I haven't got to that part of it yet. Anything else?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Can I have your
Thank you.
first and last name? Just so we have it
I'm
down?
Dick. Last name is Leighton, Leighton, and I'm the Chester Fire Marshal.
Can you say your name one more time for us?
Sure, it's Sergeant Paul Makuc, M-A-K-U-C, with the Connecticut State Police Fire and Explosion Investigation Unit.
Thank you both so much.
Okay.
All right, thank you.